Welcome everybody to this year's Shoalhaven Australia Day Awards. And I'd like to begin this presentation by acknowledging country. Where I'm coming from, where you are today, this is, was and will always be Aboriginal land. And I want to pay my respects to the elders of the past, the present, and those that are emerging, those that are being supported by the elders of today to be the elders of tomorrow, that to carry on the truth and the reconciliation that needs to be done in this country. And just to also remind us that Australia Day is not always a happy day for our first Australians. There's so much history in this country, and it behoves us to learn our history, to share our history, and to support those who may not be feeling that Australia Day is a joyous day. But also then to recognise that on Australia Day, there are so many migrants in this country, a wonderful multicultural country, a migrant such as myself, who appreciate the opportunity to live here in this beautiful place and call it now our home. And we are here today to celebrate some of our Australians, some of our wonderful volunteers here in the Shoalhaven. There are many people doing fantastic deeds, and they do these deeds with love in their hearts for a care for their community and a care for people. And it's so great to be able to celebrate them, even though we're doing it in this new digital platform. It's just a highlight of how we've had to adapt over 2020 and 2021. And I'm sure that you'll be celebrating with me the following achievements of our many worthy Shoalhaven citizens. In part of every year's awards ceremony, we have some presentations from our ambassadors, our Australia Day ambassadors, people who are chosen for the fantastic deeds that they have done. And I'm so pleased to be able to introduce our ambassadors for this year, which is Kathy and Ralph Kelly. They're truly inspirational members of our community. They've experienced great hardship and the unexpected loss of their two sons. Thomas and Stuart, I know, would be so proud of what they have done for their community, and they've gone through and have been established this fantastic foundation that has a mission to promote kindness and to care for our community. Can we please welcome Kathy and Ralph Kelly and listen to their beautiful message around Australia Day today.
Welcome everyone. My name is Kathy Kelly. My husband Ralph and I are delighted to be joining you today. We are humbled to have received the invitation to be the Australia Day ambassadors in the Shoalhaven. Thank you to Mayor Amanda Findley and councillors. We've only recently moved from Sydney to the Shoalhaven in October last year. It's such a beautiful area of New South Wales, with locals warmly welcoming us, making us feel like family. We felt like it was meant to be. The theme for Australia Day 2021 is the story of Australia. This calls on us to reflect, respect, and to celebrate on Australia Day. The campaign acknowledges the story of our extraordinary nation, highlighting that Australia Day is a day to reflect on our history and its highs and lows, while we celebrate our nation, its achievements, and our people. We reflect on our nation's past, which began more than 65,000 years ago, and the impact of European settlement on the first Australians. Our National Day is a time above all for inclusion and respect. It enables us to pause, listen, and gain a greater understanding of Australia's First Peoples, Aboriginal culture and heritage, and continue to work towards reconciliation. We respect the contributions of all Australians, and we celebrate our achievements by coming together and connecting with family, friends and community. Australia Day is an opportunity to celebrate our cultural diversity and rich migrant heritage, which is very much a part of our unique Australian identity. This diversity shines on Australia Day and is celebrated and respected in a myriad of ways in New South Wales and across the nation. Many migrants and refugees will mark Australia Day in special citizenship ceremonies, pledging their allegiance to our community and their commitment to Australia as citizens. Australia Day 2021 activities and events will be different to previous years. The day will focus more on recognising the efforts of many Australians who put others' well-beings before their own. This includes our heroic frontline workers who continue to support their communities in times of need and stand up to the challenges of these extraordinary times. The last year has been one of great difficulties, firstly with the bushfires, then drought, followed by COVID-19. What a year it has been. About 80% of the land area of the Shoalhaven was impacted or burned in some way, with 280 houses destroyed and many more damaged by fire. You see, each and every one of us is important. We are social beings. We need human interaction. Yet in this fast-moving world of technology, it's easy to forget others within our communities. Mobile phones, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok are not only consuming our time and our lives, but worse still, they are shutting people out of our lives altogether. We all crave human interaction, and with this naturally comes the need for open dialogue with family, friends, neighbours, and sometimes strangers who we come into contact and meet every day. We all have a story. Do we take the time to listen? This is our story. Stay Kind is a movement that promotes and encourages more kindness in everyday life. The Stay Kind movement in Australia evolved from two tragic circumstances. The death of Thomas Kelly, aged 18, in 2012 from an unprovoked attack on the streets of Sydney, followed by the death of his younger brother Stuart in 2016, 4 years later, also aged 18, who took his own life. Both boys are our sons. We set up a not-for-profit in December 2013, and Ralph's now going to tell you a little bit more about this.
Thank you. So a year later, we set up a new initiative in Sydney called the Take Care Safe Spaces, and it's care with a K after Thomas's last name. We launched the initiative in December 2014 at Sydney Town Hall, closely followed by King's Cross and then Darling Harbour. Our teams of volunteers stretch out across the streets of Sydney every weekend from Friday to Saturday night from 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. They look for people who are vulnerable, people who are subject to self-harm, violence and theft. We also provide wayfinding services for international tourists and domestic tourists, as well as locals to help them find their way through the city. Since we opened that first safe space in December 2014, we've now had 72,000 interventions. And we call these interventions sliding door moments, the difference between someone's life moving on as normal or disintegrating into something worse, like Thomas. Since we started the Safe Spaces, we've formed partnerships with 4 universities: the University of New South Wales, the University of Technology Sydney, the Charles Sturt University and the University of Newcastle. Recently, a study was conducted over the last 2 years by UNSW, where they looked into the community benefit of the Safe Spaces. The results were released just recently, showing that every dollar put into the program, you have a $2.67 saving. Over the period from December 2014 to April 2019, that equates to $7.5 million in harm reduction. It's a fantastic program, saving people's lives. Over COVID, we've had to hibernate the safe spaces, but we are looking to reopen mid-January, and we are looking for support with new volunteers coming on board. If you'd like to volunteer and do something kind, please visit our website, which is staykind.org. We were contacted by the Westminster City Council London, who'd heard about our safe space and wanted to replicate the program in Soho, which is a part of London. We worked tirelessly with the Westminster Council, providing all of our IP and experiences over the last few years. And it was fantastic when they opened up the site, and really bittersweet for myself because I was born in London, and so therefore to have London replicate the program that we have here in Sydney was really warming for me. From a relatively simple idea, we were able to provide the city and the amenity of Sydney's nightlife with a safe area where people could go out at night to the theatre or drinks or nightclubs and be safe. Our foundation works very closely with the Liquor Accords, the AHA, the venues, the pubs, New South Wales Police, the City of Sydney and the New South Wales State Government. Following Stuart's death in 2016, we reached a bit of a tipping point whether or not we should continue with the foundation or shut it down after Stu's death. A lot of people depended on the foundation for the work in the city on the weekends. But we started to look at some global research to look at what made people bully, what made people violent, what made people haze, and why are young people taking their lives more and more. One young person in Australia takes their life every day. The figures are awful. So we decided, we looked at that global research, and there was one underlying value that if you don't have, means that you will bully and you will be violent and do other terrible things to other people. And that value was kindness. So if we all had kindness and showed kindness to other people, then we wouldn't have all those other terrible things that happen on a day-to-day basis. So we changed the name of the foundation to Stay Kind in July 2019. The purpose is to promote the prevention of those, those key areas around bullying and violence, and to really put to the forefront in everybody's minds about staying kind. And that's being kind every day. So that's when you get out of bed each morning, you know that you're going to do something kind. And to do something kind, you have to observe and then act. So if you can see someone who's struggling, or just a simple act like opening a door, you're going to stop and you're going to go over to them and reach out and say, am I able to help you? If each and every one of the 25 million Australians did one act of kindness every day, it's 9.1 billion acts of kindness a year. Just imagine what a great country we would be. Really fantastic. In July we have a month which is called Kind July. So both the boys lost their lives in July. So we use really July as the month to really get it out there. And again, if we all did an act of kindness in July, that's 775 million acts of kindness. Today there are mums and dads through the work of our foundation and Stay Kind who have their sons and daughters at home with them over this important period, over Christmas and New Year and Australia Day, through acts of generosity of other people to be kind to them. And so we're urging all Australians to really think about others over this very difficult period.
So how can you play your part in being kind? It can be as simple as smiling and saying hello, or good morning to a stranger walking down the street. As simple as it sounds, a smile and a greeting can change someone's life, can certainly change their day. Give praise to others wherever possible. I guarantee you that any positive praise will be meaningful to the person that you say it to. Always stop at a lemonade stand. Not only kids will get excited about their efforts being recognised by you, but that happiness will also make your day. Pay for the person's coffee behind you. Most likely they will pay that kind act forward. So think of the ripple effect of your act of kindness, or that one act of kindness. So all of us can make a difference. An act of kindness can improve not only the person receiving the act, but also your own well-being. Do something kind. Stay kind.
Thanks so much, Kathy and Ralph, for delivering your beautiful message to us this Australia Day, and thank you for sharing. It's really important that we hear your story and to share that across all of Australia to encapsulate what it means to be part of this great nation. But on with the awards now. And our first award today is going to be for an outstanding contribution to innovation in arts and culture. Now, this woman I met many years ago, and I can tell you that she is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to the arts. And I'm so pleased to be able to announce that Alison Stewart is this year's winner. Alison is completely selfless, thoughtful, and absolutely passionate about the arts here in the Shoalhaven. She's a visual arts teacher at Nowra Christian College, and I bet that her students feel so lucky to have Alison as their guide through the arts. She's really committed to nurturing young people, and I've seen what she has done as we shared some time together at university. So well done, Alison, for making it your career here in the Shoalhaven. But not only is she an exceptional teacher, she loves drama as well. Now, not the bad kind of drama, but the good drama. And she's an absolute gem for the Nowra players, which she gives a lot of time to. She's also president of the Shoalhaven Arts Society, which is a volunteer position. She's really generous with her time, and she assists all of the artists there on the board as well. As an artistic director, she's helped to support local productions, and she's contributed in an amazing way. Thank you, Alison, for keeping and helping the arts be alive here in the Shoalhaven.
Well, I'm really humbled to win this award for innovation in arts and culture for Shoalhaven area. I think the Shoalhaven is a really vibrant place culturally, and I really want to encourage everybody to embrace the beauty that the Shoalhaven has and really get to know all the events and artists that live and work in their artistic practice in this area. We're truly blessed to be inspired by the beautiful nature around us, and I think it's a great place to be inspired visually and creatively. I just want to acknowledge the Indigenous creators in this area, the people of the Yuin and Jerinja communities who use country as inspiration for their artworks, and particularly Peter Hewitt, who recently shared with me his creative visual journey with his artworks inspired by Yuin Nation. I just want to encourage the young people of the Shoalhaven to embrace the visual and performing arts as a way to have your voice and your story heard. The visual and performing arts are a great way to express your ideas, your opinions, your journey, your story, and there's plenty of opportunity out here in the Shoalhaven for you to engage and show your creativity through the visual and performing arts. I wanted to thank the Nowra Players, Nowra Christian School, Shoalhaven Arts Society, a number of people who I engage with regularly, the Shoalhaven Regional Gallery, Bundanon, and also the Shoalhaven Council for their inspiration and their opportunities that they present for people to engage with the visual and performing arts.
Thanks, Alison, for sharing your story with us. Our next award is around contribution to the environment. Now, what an environment we have here in the Shoalhaven. Whether you're someone who's been living here for 5 generations or part of a 5-generation family, or whether you've just recently moved to the Shoalhaven, we all share the common bond that the place that we live in is beautiful, whether it's our marine environment, whether it's our built social environment around our parks and our leisure places, or whether it's our gorgeous mountains and our escarpments at the back. We really do have it all here in the Shoalhaven. So this award's going today to Robin Hannon. Robin Hannon has just been doing the most outstanding work at the Kalala Community Garden. It's a place that welcomes everybody, and it's an all-inclusive space, and they've made sure that if you're in a wheelchair or if you're in a walker and have some disabilities or mobility issues, that you can get into the garden and also share that time with all of those volunteers. The people that work with Robin believe that she is an inspirational leader, and I know that she is. She's done a terrific job out there at Kalala, and if you get the chance to go out and visit them, please do. But let's hear from Robin.
I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you for this award. I almost decided not to accept the nomination, but then after I thought about it at 3 o'clock in the morning, decided that it was an opportunity for me to acknowledge all the other community members who've helped me do all the jobs that we do. We, at Kalala Beach, Kalala Bay and Myola and beyond, try to help people and make their lives better by providing social gatherings and opportunities where they can explore different avenues and different concepts, and we really enjoy doing it. And I'd like to thank all my group, because this award is not for me, it's for all of us, and I really thank them for their support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robin, for your selfless contribution to Kalala Bay and to the work at the community garden there. Now, my next award is to go to those who have given the most for an inclusive Shoalhaven. Now, an inclusive Shoalhaven means that we gather in everyone. It doesn't matter what your background is, what your abilities are, what challenge that you have. And many of us do have challenges all across this beautiful place. We do have people who are living here homeless and rough. We have people who need assistance with food hampers and with weekly guidance and assistance. And no one has given that better assistance to the people of the Northern Shoalhaven and beyond than Peter Dover. He is a completely selfless person, and I met him a long time ago now, probably when he first started his work with Salt Ministries. And he's worked so tirelessly in the Safe Shelter project. He's worked so tirelessly in providing meals, comfort, and helping people to find accommodation in the Northern Shoalhaven. It's just incredible the amount of hours that he puts in. And I know that he would attribute that to having a wonderful community around him who lift him up and support him. And I know how deeply he appreciates having his wife Meg by his side. Peter Dover, I'm really pleased to be able to present to you this award for an inclusive Shoalhaven. Congratulations.
Hi, my name's Peter Dover. I'd like to thank you, and I'm really honoured to receive this award today. My wife Megan and I lead an amazing team of staff and volunteers at Salt Ministries, Salt Care, Safe Shelter Shoalhaven and Salt & Co, who tirelessly work to help people that are suffering from disadvantage. We started Salt in 2012 with a simple mandate of simply just loving God and loving people without agenda or without judgment. And we started by doing this by just giving out food and clothing to those in need. And that led to us working with council, churches, business and community to start Safe Shelter Shoalhaven. And that was an amazing initiative to help the homeless of the region and all over the Shoalhaven. And so we then launched Salt Care, which started with salt assisted housing, where we started to help people that were homeless move from homelessness into self-sufficient living in their own houses. So much has happened in the last 12 months. In the recent bushfires, we started a response team to go out into the areas of Nowra, Nerriga and Conjola Park, just to stand and be with people, giving them food, clothing and support where they just needed someone to stand by them. And then at the end of this year, we started Salt & Co. And Salt & Co. is a social enterprise where we're working with young people who are wanting to break the cycle of unemployment. So we train them and we employ them into the areas of hospitality. Everything we do is to help break the divide between those that have and those that have not. We want to make sure people know that they belong. We want to make sure people know that they are loved and they are cared for, and there is nothing separating them from the rest of society. We realise that the trauma people suffer isn't the defining moment of their life, but there is much more behind the scenes. You know, I'm reminded of what Mother Teresa said. She said that life is so much better when we are able to give to people and expect nothing in return. We stand with those that have been on the outside of the social divide. We imagine a circle with no one standing on the outside. It's not them and us, it's just us. And we hope that what we do is able to break down people's mindsets, so we realise that our whole fabric of the Shoalhaven is about inclusiveness. It's about giving to those in need. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter. This year's been really challenging for our young people, and I'm really proud of the young people of the Shoalhaven who have shown some fantastic resilience in the face of so many challenges this year. Often our young people get a bad rap, but we really need to support them. That's why I really love giving out the Young Citizen of the Year award. And this Young Citizen of the Year has had an exceptional year. Violet Venn, she's only 15 years of age. And wow, if this young woman is doing the things that she's doing right now at such a young age, imagine where she's going to be in her 20s and our 30s. And this is why I think that our future's in good hands with our young people, because Violet's been working on bringing the environmental issues that our country faces to the attention of our leaders. Violet's been an active member and is the Vice President of the Youth for Change movement. And she has organised climate strikes, climate youth strikes, and she has petitioned Shoalhaven City councillors to get them to understand the issues that our environment face. She's shown great skills and great leadership in community engagement and academia. She's a wonderful young role model, and I'm really pleased to be able to give this award to you, Violet, this year. Congratulations and well done.
Hello, my name is Violet Venn. I'm 15 years old and a student at Bomaderry High School. I grew up in England, and that's where I got my first taste of what it's like to be a leader. I was chosen as a sixer in my local brownie group when I was around 8 years old. I've always loved developing and learning new leadership skills. When I moved to Australia in 2014, I continued my journey by joining First Now Guides. I achieved a lot while attending Girl Guides, such as organising a working bee in Marriott Park to plant more trees in community spaces, another being a giving tree for the local Nowra Women's Refuge, by collaborating with local businesses and my school at the time, Bomaderry Public School, to gather donations. In Year 5, I was determined to be the school captain at Bomaderry Public School, so I put a lot of time and effort into preparing my speech and presentation, and that hard work paid off as I was elected the 2017 Female Bomaderry Public School Captain. Through this role, I got to make a lot of connections to members of the community and members of Parliament. One of these people being Gareth Ward, who selected my school to represent the Kiama electorate at the 2017 Children's Parliamentary Learning Experience. My principal chose me to represent the school. I was the only primary age student that selected to go. I went to a 3-day camp in Sydney where I enjoyed workshops about leadership, teamwork and writing skills. I learnt how bills are passed and how laws are made. We each got to write speeches to present at Parliament House. Mine was about homelessness and how we can tackle the issue at local levels. This was my first major leadership experience where I made friends that I still talk to this day. This experience made me aware of how politics works and the best way to create change. This is where I became interested in politics, and I even attended post-electoral meetings in Nowra after the May 2019 federal election, and I was one of the very few under 18s there. In October 2018, I started an Instagram page called Plastic Is Not Fantastic to raise awareness around the overuse of plastic in the community and how to reduce your plastic intake by recommending products and sharing tips and tricks to reduce your carbon footprint. During lockdown, my mum and I started our own small online business selling upcycled items made from old books and papers called the Vintage Paper Shack. We recently started selling our items in a cafe that I work at called Arthur's, located in Port Kembla. Since Year 7, I've volunteered to be a part of the Bomaderry High School sound crew, and next year I will be head of the sound and lighting team. Because of this, I've been awarded the Bomaderry High School Citizenship Award for outstanding contributions to school activities in 2018, 2019 and 2020. Outside of school, I volunteer as a drama teacher at the Nowra Players to teach a drama class of primary age school students. I love being a mentor to the group and inspiring and encouraging those students who aren't quite as confident as others. Seeing my students learn and grow as performers is the reason I volunteer my time there. Every Thursday, I volunteer at the community radio Triple UFM as a youth amplified presenter, as well as my 2 co-hosts. We have an hour-long program once a week where we play music and talk about current topics. After attending Youth for Change Shoalhaven for over a year, I was recently elected Vice President at the beginning of Term 4, which is something I'm very proud of achieving. Youth for Change is a non-political group in the Shoalhaven that have monthly meetings to discuss issues that we are passionate about, such as the environment, equality, mental health, and we develop community-based projects to create positive change in the Shoalhaven. I'm one of the lead organisers for the Shoalhaven School Strike for Climate, but obviously due to COVID-19 we haven't been able to achieve as much as we would have liked to, but we hope that 2021 and the near future we will achieve a lot more. 2 weeks ago, I completed the 2020 Bomaderry High Peer Support Training and have been selected to be a 2021 Peer Support Leader for next year's Year 7s. At the beginning of November this year, I attended the South Coast Leadership Forum, aka SKILF. We participated in lots of workshops, some being how to recycle properly, what racism means, and of course, leadership skills such as communication and teamwork. We also took part in the Impact Challenge, where we had to create an idea to tackle a local issue. My group's idea was to raise awareness around the destruction that sea urchins are causing in Jervis Bay. In 2021, I hope to make this idea a reality through Sonder Youth's Changemakers program. I hope that 2021 will be a year of learning, growing and achieving for myself and everybody around me. I would like to thank everyone involved for the opportunity to be here, and a massive thank you to Nina and Takisa for nominating me.
Now, I hope you feel inspired after hearing from Violet, because I certainly feel inspired by our young people all the time. And the other people that I feel inspired by are all of our volunteers all across the city. So I just want to take a moment now for us all to just pause and to acknowledge the hundreds of thousands of hours that people spend in service to our city. And it would be so great to be able to acknowledge every single one of them with an award, because they all deserve it. And many do this work without awards in their mind or in their hearts. They do it because they love what they do. They either love the people that they're serving or the part of the community that they're serving. So let's give thanks to all of those people who spend some of their time volunteering in our community. And this brings me now to the final award for this year's Australia Day Awards, the Citizen of the Year. And this year's Citizen of the Year has been volunteering for over 25 years on many, many levels. He has volunteered with the Camberwarra Ratepayers Association, the Tapatally Creek Landcare Group, Shoalhaven River Watch, which cares for the Shoalhaven River, and for the Shoalhaven Landcare Fox Control Program. He's always there to help his neighbours. He's helped out with engineering problems, and he's come up with solutions. He's lent equipment, and he is just an all-round fantastic guy. And if you've come across Peter Jurgens, then you will know who I'm talking about. He's fondly and affectionately known to many people. And Peter, I've got the greatest pleasure in giving this award to you. Congratulations, and thank you so much for all of the exceptional work that you have done for the Shoalhaven over so many years.
I'd just like to thank Shoalhaven City Council for this award. And it's a great recognition for community groups for the work they do in Shoalhaven. This recognition also is shows that I'm just part of a team, and without the team we wouldn't be doing too much. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's just I feel very humbled. Thank you.
Peter, thanks for sharing that story with us. And I know that behind so many of our volunteers, there are fantastic teams of people who are working with them. But I just want to point out too that your humility in your acceptance is also one of those fantastic traits that we see in so many of our volunteers across the Shoalhaven. And these peer awards, they often are hard to accept when you know that you've worked side by side with many others who you feel are equally as able to receive the type of awards that are given out in the Shoalhaven. But to all of our award recipients, I hope that next year that you pick up the application form and fill it in for someone that you know is equally as special as you are, and is also one of those silent achievers that needs to be recognised by our fantastic city. I'm really, every year when I stand on the stage and give out these awards, this year I sit in front of a camera and I still feel the enormity of what it is that people do on a day-to-day basis. And I want to thank each and every one of you for the contributions that you have given in this year and all of the years before. 2020 was a challenging year, and I do feel optimistic that 21 and this Australia Day is just part of this 21. It's going to be a much better proposition for all of us here in the Shoalhaven. I hope that your Australia Day has been whatever it is that you want it to be for you, whether you're a migrant who's celebrating being in a new country, or whether you're someone who's been here for many, many generations. And can we, again, at the end of this ceremony, reflect on our first Australians who have been here for thousands of years and what today also means to them. I thank you for your attention. Thank you for sharing this occasion with us, and congratulate all of those nominees and all of the recipients of our awards.